This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers.
Welcome, listeners. This podcast is safe for first-time readers because it's made by a first-time reader. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm the one who's taken on the task of reading through this 15-book mega-series. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. Before we get into things today, we want to welcome a new member of the Wheel Weaves Patreon team over at patreon.com/The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We want to acknowledge Mate Charmy and thank you for your support and generosity. Also, we want to acknowledge Mike Estep for increasing his pledge on Patreon. So thank you to you both, and we're really happy to have your support. And we have our pal Tyler.
Hi!
In studio with us.
Yeah, back. The last time you were here was chapter 23.
23.
We got a lot to discuss today, so we're actually going to skip the fun banter and hop right into it.
You're going to cut the last 10 minutes we already recorded of great banter?
When we were talking about the Wiggles?
Pretty much, yeah.
That was good, but unfortunately, not going to make the podcast.
Oh, this isn't the Wiggles one.
Okay, Brett, why don't you get us going with a fun fact today?
So the fun fact that I have for you today is a bit of an extension from last episode's fun fact. And that's where I talked about the possible origins of the Aes Sedai name coming from the Irish folklore of the Aes Sedai, which is probably not the right pronunciation, but that's not the important part. Because I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on Wikipedia looking at Irish mythology. So, according to many Gaelic tales, the Aes Sedai are actually literary versions of, and check this name, the Tuatha De Danann, who are the deities or deified ancestors of Irish mythology. Now, the Tuatha De Danann might sound a little bit familiar because we've actually been introduced to a group of people called the Tuatha An.
Right.
Yeah, and those are the Tinkers. Now, the cool part about this gets into the details. So the translation of the Tuatha De Danann means people of the goddess Danu or Anu. And the goddess Danu in Irish mythology has its etymological roots in the Hindu goddess Danu. And we do know that the Tuatha An have their whole world philosophy based on Hinduism, with the whole Mahdi and the Seeker and that whole thing. And the goddess Danu in Hinduism means rain. And the name of the Mahdi of the band of the Tuatha An that we meet was named
Rain.
So,
cool.
Boom, fun little connecting to us there.
So Robert Jordan reads Wikipedia.
He did.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Before Wikipedia was a thing.
Oh yeah, that's what makes it really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I just found a lot of connecting to us there.
That's
so
a
I wanted
good
to share
one.
them.
That's a good fact, Brett.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we have no time to waste here in this episode.
There's no time.
There's no time.
No time.
Time is so short.
And yet you invited me.
Yeah, I know. That was my Maureen impression. Okay, so getting into chapter 46, Fal Dara. I hope they get to Fal Dara. Dara? Is that why you're making a face?
Yeah, that's why.
Fal Dara.
Better.
And a new map.
Yeah, we do. And we touched very briefly on it at the end of last chapter.
You know, I was very excited for this new map, but I have to say, I'm extremely disappointed.
Yes.
I am
know.
upset with this map. I am mad at this map.
Yes.
It is directionally confused.
It is, because north is off to the northeast.
North is off to the side, which is very confusing and doesn't follow any continuity with the rest of the maps in the book, and I was very confused, thinking that the Blight was off to the east.
They kind of tried to put a square peg in a round hole here.
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
go
know
so well.
why. Like, why couldn't they have just done a portrait map instead of a landscape map?
Well, if I were to quote the makers of the Game of Thrones TV show, maybe you're not getting it. It's exactly how we planned it.
Good reference.
Yeah.
Go to art school, why don't you?
Yeah, I could try to do that. I am not a map maker, and maybe our pals out there who are map makers can help me out with this one.
Yeah, shed some light.
Yeah.
I don't know why the lack of continuity in the directions.
Yeah.
It bothered me.
Now, the most notable thing on this map, we mentioned it last chapter, and that is the 7 towers.
Yeah, that is notable, only because we know Lan is the last lord of the Seven Towers.
Yes, and that's what we've heard prior to this chapter.
Yeah, so that is an interesting tidbit just about what might be upcoming.
Yeah, a little bit of a foreshadow.
Yeah, and then so the picture is of that winter tree, and the full moon.
The full moon and the dead tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've gotten this generally when they're like traveling through the forest.
Our crew has just escaped the ways and arrived near Fal Dara. The waygate is still intact, but it's just sitting wide open because Moraine busted up the stone door to escape. And I personally think this is a dangerous problem.
Yeah, and I think it's only partially dangerous because like there's nobody out here. It doesn't seem like a very populated place, so like,
yeah, we do learn that, but
it's not like immediately dangerous.
I just think that it's not good.
There's not going to be a lot of doors left if she does this every time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Rand looks around and he sees that there is no sign of an Ogier Grove anywhere. And I had sort of speculated about this. I thought maybe we get a glimpse of a grove or something because the waygate's there.
Yeah.
No grove. It's destroyed. Loyal just is shaking his head.
Yeah, to be fair, we got a hint of this previously, though.
Yeah.
Because Loyal
the
had...
lawful defarling. What's it called?
Yeah.
I've got a trick for speaking in the old tongue.
Oh, yeah?
You just sound like Jabba the Hutt the whole time.
Oh,
okay.
It's really fun.
Lucky Wookie.
Oh.
Yeah.
To be Mafo the Dara now.
Yeah. It helps. It really does.
It's pretty good.
Mafo no Dara no ho.
That's good. Good Jabba.
So we learned that old Fal Dara got totally wiped out around the Trolloc Wars. Same with the Grove.
Yeah,
And
I just
then-
didn't know if it would all be like completely destroyed to smithereens or if there'd still be a glimpse of it.
Yeah, so
But no, gone.
it's gone.
Lan says that they are in...
Shianar.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And it is in the Borderlands. And then I had a question about if Shianar was the country,
Yes.
just sort of like Andor.
Yeah,
Is
so
the
Shianar
country?
is a country and it is one of the Borderlands.
Oh, there's multiple Borderlands.
Because they border the Blight.
They border
They're
land.
all called the Borderlanders.
Borderlanders.
But there's a whole bunch of different Borderlands.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So apparently it is really freaking cold up here in the north. The boys are complaining of the cold. Go figure. These boys are complaining about things. I'm surprised. So Lan says it'll be warm in the Blight, and I wonder why.
Yeah.
Is there like a big volcano there? Like I picture Mordor, and I picture Mordor to be very warm.
Yeah, I just wanted to double back really quick, though, and
Oh.
point out one small thing.
Sure.
When it goes to Lan, and he says we're in the Borderlands, and it says in his hard voice there was a note that said home almost.
Oh, okay.
I like that because it's like it's one of those things that you would kind of expect like a douchey director to tell an actor. It's
Oh,
like, I
yeah.
want you to sound like you're home.
Almost.
Yeah.
Action.
It's like
Yeah.
bad stage direction.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like nobody's voice could ever actually sound like that.
No, you're
but
probably...
when you're reading a book,
Yeah,
it's so much more in the writing than what's actually being said.
but if you were to pick like a direction
Yes.
for that, it would be like, oh, sound like you're full of longing kind of thing,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like those would be... And like he puts these in here, and I think they're really useful in the actual... when they're making the show.
Yeah.
Because I think he gives them the pieces they need to be able to get the most out of what the actors are saying and head in that direction, which I actually think it's going to be a really good show.
And
Yeah.
even just understand where the characters are coming from.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
not knowing much about Lan, that's a huge stage direction. So.
Yeah. We just found out that he's almost home.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. That's
Yeah.
literally... And we already saw on the map that the Seven Towers aren't too far away.
Yeah.
So, interesting. Okay.
When I go back to Winnipeg, I don't speak with a fondness.
You're not...
Like, why is it so goddamn cold here?
he
Because we
said,
don't-
sounding like he was almost home.
Okay, guys, but like, why is it warm in the Blight?
That's a good question. We also know that firewood isn't safe to burn in the Blight.
Yeah.
So, whole
'Cause-
bunch of question
'cause of-
marks.
So this
Because
is
of evil.
this is what I kind of picture is that it's like mold, right? Like you don't get mold in the cold. You get like crappy mold spores and things like that. Like it's got to be like that gross room temperature feeling. I did biology, so maybe I'm a little bit more familiar with this, but we had like a room that was just like humid and like gross smelling.
So
Yeah.
the question would be
mold.
like, why is
Yeah.
if it's cold here, we know the
Blight
further
is
north you
even
go,
more north.
typically temperature is going to drop the further north you go. So
Yeah,
why is the blight warm? So I mean,
climate change.
there you go.
Climate change in the blight.
Caused by the devil.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
capitalism.
Yeah.
Okay. So not Mordor?
Could be.
Oh.
Mordor-esque.
You don't
Okay.
know. We have no idea.
We know
Yeah.
that there's a big mountain in the middle of it called Shao Ghul.
Oh, and we have gotten reference to it, and Rand potentially saw it in a dream.
He did, potentially. Or an interpretation of it.
Did it have fire?
I believe so. I think so.
They talk a lot about the shadow part of it more, but
And Thakendar?
And thunderclouds, I think there were. So, yeah.
Maybe it's fire. Evil fire.
Okay.
So they pass some farms along the way, and they seem super abandoned. But Egwene says they look like they haven't been gone for long. And Matt, like an idiot, asks why. And Nynaeve and Egwene look at him like he's an idiot. And so they say, why the curtains, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Moron.
like he's never seen a curtain before.
Oh yeah, no woman would have put those up more than a week ago. Those are spring curtains. Okay.
Here, I'll give you this delivery.
Yeah.
Curtains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my parent.
It's good. But then, yeah, Perrin does chime in with what he knows about, and that's metal. So he doesn't know anything about curtains, but he knows that that scythe blade sitting on the ground does not have much rust on it. And Rand notes that his eyes used to be sharper than Perrin's, but he couldn't make out any rust on that blade.
Yeah, and I think this is just another big hint to Perrin powering up a little bit here.
Perrin did power up.
Yeah.
He had an eyevolution.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hated it too, and she said it the first time.
How do you feel about it now?
Equally bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying it.
I think we should have a quick vote. All the no's?
Nay.
Nays?
Okay.
Nays? Oh, that's 2.
Shoot.
Guess what, guys? I don't care.
That's fair. Maybe we can have a Patreon poll and really get rid of this for good.
Yeah, no, it's going nowheres. So, Rand tries again here with the whole telling Nynaeve and Egwene and Loyal not to come. It started out to be very chivalrous, and now it's like bordering on like arrogance and just full douchebaggery. Like, they've all had many chances to turn back at this point.
So why do you think he keeps pushing the point then?
Because he thinks he's being chivalrous. He's worried about them.
Okay.
And it's getting annoying because at some point you have to understand that people are making their own decisions.
It's funny because one of the episodes that I just listened to, you were just saying, I love how Rand is like this. I think it's a super good character trait. I hope he never loses that part of his personality.
I agree. It's important to care and think about other people. I really hope Rand never loses that. And I'm glad that you brought that up. But at this point, though, it's bordering on annoying just because they literally just came from a place where they had an opportunity to leave, and he already talked to Egwene about not coming, and it's like at some point you have to listen to what people are saying. No matter how good your intentions are, you're coming across bad. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I think it's just important to note that as a character, he's not there yet. So if you're expecting him to drop it, you're going to have a bad time.
No, I don't need him to drop it. I just think at some point you have to listen to what people are saying. And he isn't, and that's annoying me.
Yeah.
That's all.
So I think that's him being like, I don't think I should be going. I don't think anyone should be going, but I know I have to.
And it might be the internal feeling that it's his fault that they're all going there too.
Yeah.
So
I totally get it, and I appreciate where it's coming from.
doesn't sound like you actually appreciate
Guys,
it.
we can call this Randsplaining.
Actually, yes. That is perfect. That is exactly what this is.
All right.
This is totally Randsplaining.
Let me go ahead and ransplain this to you.
Yeah, you just don't understand the depth of character that is Rand.
Yes.
You don't know how dangerous it's going to be?
Huh.
Okay, well, in any case, guys, it doesn't work. And they're all like, Bud, shut up. We're coming. We're part of this too. You're clearly important and we're not fucking anything up. So, Loyal turns out also wants to meet the Green Man. So, now I had a question about these Green Man.
We've heard of one Green Man.
Okay, so that's my question. I was going to say Green Men. So is it one Green Man, or is there like a whole race of Green Men?
So far, it's been spoken of as the Green Man.
The Green
The
Giant.
Green Man needs to be warned about the threat. Yeah. We got to go see the Green Man at the Eye. So singular from what it sounds like.
Yeah. And Jolly. Green Giant. We're all picturing the Green Giant?
Yes.
Good.
From the front of the pea container.
Peas and green beans.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in any case, Loyal wants to meet this guy, this green guy, and the elders and his father have already met the Green Man, and he's excited for his chance.
Yeah, so this is really cool.
After all of this that Loyal's been through, I'm glad he's finding some light at the end of this scary, dark tunnel.
Yeah, and I mean, it's important to note that apparently the Green Man doesn't avoid Ogier like he avoids humans so much.
Aha!
Yeah.
Yes. Because the Green Man can be very hard to find, and no one can find him twice.
Yes, which also is very important.
So if he knows a lot about the trees, you know how people who are really good at gardening have like a green thumb, and that's just kind of like a saying about them, and they're not actually physically green?
Yeah.
Can you answer this for me?
I can't answer it.
He's a giant green thumb.
But you know where I'm going? Like, is he literally just a big green guy?
We can't answer that.
Or is he a guy who's good at green things? Like the Green Aja, who are clearly the groundskeepers.
Yeah.
Right?
That's still the thought process. So we can't answer that. And what are your thoughts? What do you think? Because we can't answer that.
I think he's not an actual green person.
Okay. And it's just like he's one. Would that make sense why he's more in tune with the Ogier? Because the Ogier clearly has that nature connection. And the trees,
and he knows the tree songs.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Okay.
So Nynaeve just continues with her sass here and insists that they all have to go because of the pattern, because she says, right? And then she calls them men for the first time.
She changed it from boys to men.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good reference.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, tell me one Boys to Men song.
I can't. I don't know any.
Good
but
joke.
I know the reference.
There's no follow-up questions to jokes on here.
Hey, what is this?
So Matt thinks this is really funny, and at this point Egwene moves close to Rand, and she says, out of nowhere, that she only danced with Aram, and she hopes that he won't hold it against her for dancing with someone she will never meet again.
Yeah, so not out of nowhere, to her at least.
Yes.
She's been thinking about this probably since the conversation.
Because that
in the
was
waves.
just last night.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
That whole funny interaction went down. And it sounds like she's feeling a little guilty. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting that she's asking Rand not to hold it against her, but at no point does Rand say, hey, don't worry about Min, don't worry about Else, don't worry about Elaine, like, don't worry about anyone that I've had interaction with. Like, he doesn't bring that up at all.
Probably he doesn't get it.
I think Rand might have a communication issue.
Oh my god. No way. How dare you?
Yeah, I love how they go right to men and then immediately teen drama.
Yeah.
And right away he says, of course no. Of course I won't hold it against you. And then he thinks about what Min said about them not being for each other in the way that they want. And that sort of just shuts him up.
Yeah, and we've already kind of seen that their paths are going in different directions.
Yes.
So, but I mean,
It's really still fun to see Egwene be a jelly monster.
It is, yeah. But I gotta pull it back to the fact that these two were betrothed for like the last decade, most likely, and it's been a month.
You've said this before, and I'm putting my foot down.
Yeah,
there was no formal betrothal.
It was pretty
at
close.
All. It was almost maybe they were gonna start talking about it,
possibly all but promised
at the end of that summer.
Yeah,
when she stripped for him at the Beltane pole.
That never happened.
No, when she strips for him on the Beltane pole, that's when the engagement would happen.
Small town traditions.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
So wholesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so our crew arrives at Fal Dara, and there are walls all around it, as high as Camelin walls, but not as intricate and not as nice, just like regular stone. All around the walls are clear completely for a full mile surrounding these tall walls. So nothing could come close without being seen by one of the many tall towers that help guard this place.
Yeah, so this place has been made for defense, not beauty.
Yes.
And we see that all throughout the chapter.
So law in Shinar is to not hide one's face within town walls because half-men can't hide with their faces exposed. And I like this.
Yeah, so this
Good
is...
law. This should be law everywhere.
The issue is that everywhere else doesn't even know that fades are a real thing.
That is the issue. You're right.
So this is also an important reminder that fades look just like people, right? For the most part, like they're not
Right,
distinguishable.
which throws me right off because I definitely still picture flying Dementors.
Yeah, flying Dementors are like ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings. Like, there's huge differences between those and these fades because fades are the size of people, they look like people. The only thing that is different is that underneath all the cloaking, they're like big scary monsters. But yeah.
And you have to do a shot.
Yeah, not just me.
Team effort.
Team effort
There
when
you
it's
go.
mentioned.
Let's do it.
Yes. Okay, guys, Dementor shot.
Yeah, so what do you have?
I have I Heart CA, California.
Okay.
It's very generic, and I couldn't tell you where in California this came from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere good, I bet.
Probably.
California's
Not good enough to put their own name on it, though.
Brett, what do you have?
I have Kauai coffee.
You nailed it.
In Hawaii?
Yeah.
From your mother.
Oh, that's from my mom?
Mhm.
All right, that's new information to me.
Yeah.
What do you have?
I think I have one from your mom too.
Okay.
It's the Amsterdam Red Light District.
Makes sense.
And then the other side is just ass and titty.
It's a good one. I thought you'd appreciate
It's
that.
a very good one.
It's a very good. That one is a gift. We actually haven't been to the Amsterdam Red Light District, unfortunately.
Yeah. Cheers.
So we ride up on Fal Dara.
Mm-hmm. And as usual, the Edmondsfielders compare it to the last things that they have seen.
Yeah.
Or the only two things that they have seen.
The only two cities that they've seen, they're comparing this city to.
You know what? They're getting a pretty good span of cities. They got Haunted Ruin City, they got Big Capital City, and now they have
They also got Medium City
Medium City.
in Berlin.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, so the most important thing I think that we get about Fal Dara here is that they have golden coats with a black hawk on it. We get mentioned of that quite a bit this chapter.
Yeah, that's a pretty good symbol.
Yeah.
It's good to recognize, which banners are for where.
Yeah, and then Moraine and Lan are welcomed very warmly.
Yeah, almost overly warmly.
With people shouting to them and waving and clapping, and they call out, Dai Shan! And then I think that this is some greeting
Sure.
in the Borderlands. And then they call out to our loyal, glory to the builders.
Yeah, and that should be a pretty easy comparison to make, because Old Fal Dara was made by Ogier. We know that Ogier built cities.
Yeah, but, okay, so here's my thing. So was Camelin, and Cameliners were awful to loyal.
Yeah, but keep in mind, that's because they don't know what an Ogier is.
Yes.
But these are people who likely know what Aes Sedai are, know what Ogier are. They're more aware of what Trollocs and Fades are because they fight them every day. So they've got more awareness of what things are in the world.
Yeah, you get a really interesting, cool contrast with Robert Jordan where he gives you these pieces of his world where you've got the people who south of the Borderlands don't even really believe the Borderlands are real.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Borderlanders, 100%, they believe in the mythical. They believe in the fantastical. But
Yeah.
then you go in this case, it's 3 hours south because they took the ways or whatever.
Yeah.
2 days south. So you don't really get the idea of how much distance is between.
Yeah, I
Camelot and
did
everywhere
look
else.
a little bit because once we do meet the Lord, he says it's been a great distance traveled from Tar Valon. And so I did look at the map and try to compare how far Tar Valon actually is from where they are and how far Bearlawn is from Camelin.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get some, like, reference because we did travel here through the ways in a day and a half.
Yeah.
Not even, right? So...
Yeah, I think it would be easy for comparison's sake to say to get from, like, Tarvalin to Fal Dara could take a month. Like,
Regular travel.
depends on how you're traveling, right? If you're on horseback or on foot. So, like, it could take a while.
Yeah.
And this is a not so subtle nod too to how effective the Borderlanders have been at isolating the rest of the world from the Trollocs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that
totally
now people
fair.
don't know.
Until now.
Good point.
Right?
Yeah. So, who wants to take a stab at saying these old words that are the greeting to Loyal?
I taught you how. Remember?
Yeah, he did a short
Wookie
lesson.
Kasiriti wansho ho ho.
That's pretty good.
And then single machoba is even better.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I don't even know what you're saying. Your voice is so low, so that's great.
Maybe I should only do loyal parts from now on.
Yeah, you're totally Loyal. Well, Loyal looks surprised and then smiles. Because, yeah, this is for sure a much nicer welcome. And everyone he's seen so far, maybe they were pretty nice to him in the Aiel lens. What's it called there?
Sure.
The people are the Aiel.
The Aiel Waste.
The Aiel Waste.
Do we know that Loyal's even been there?
Yeah. He said that he met people there.
No.
Okay, he
No,
said
you're
he
making that
met
up.
people somewhere before he went to Camelin. Where did he meet people?
Kyrian?
Yep, maybe that's the one.
Those are not Aiel.
Give me my book. Show me a map. Kyrian. That's
Yeah.
the one. Because studying
Kyrian?
Shintais here.
Yeah. He went to
Kyrian.
Kyrian.
Yeah, same thing. Whatever.
No.
He met other people.
Not the same
no,
thing.
I like that. Exact same thing.
Oh my
Brett.
god. Blasphemy.
Whatever. He's used to being yelled Trolloc and chased with pitchforks and torches, and he's kept in the back library room. He's not even allowed in the common room in the inn because everybody is scared of him. And here, they're welcoming him in his, like, own old tongue, I can assume. And he's so happy about this. He's so surprised that people know who Ogier are.
Yeah, it does seem that way, so that's good.
Right. And then at some point, someone comes up to Lan and asks, will the golden crane fly again, Dai Shan? And I guess this is another one of Lan's names.
Okay.
Not a greeting.
Not a greeting, so...
Because he's specifically referred to as this. And they clearly know him here.
Yeah, they do.
So that's that hint of home, almost, in his
Almost,
voice.
but not quite.
And all the farmers from the surrounding lands seem to have been all crowded and gathered within the city walls or the town walls here, living out of their wagons with, like, makeshift pens for their animals.
Yeah, so everyone's packed into this city that clearly looks like it's preparing for war.
Yeah.
But one really important thing I want you to make a note of here, when the man comes alongside Lan and says, will the golden crane fly again, Daishan? The warder says, peace, Reagan. And then his face seems even more grim than it was coming in. So it's like him hearing the question being asked, it doesn't set properly with him. He doesn't like that question.
Okay, interesting. So Lan leads the way to a fortress surrounded by a dry moat, and at the bottom, a crazy amount of, like, spikes and lances and all sorts of stuff are all sticking out of it. Rand notes that this place is clearly built as a last defense if the city should fall.
Yeah, so it's going to punish whoever makes it in, and they're going to try and kill as many people or Trollocs as they can before they go down. So,
yeah, this is where you get kind of like some fantasy author flexing, because you get some fortresses and you get some of these like fortifications. You get an idea
cool
of tactics,
defenses,
based on just the way that they talk about how the buildings look.
Yeah.
So you get like the, you know, I'm not going to say like the fantasy nerds, but you get like the medieval focused people who can picture these and identify like whether this makes sense or not.
Yeah.
And like that's honestly that's the audience for
this
writing,
absolutely.
Because the average person doesn't really care, but these guys care a lot.
Yeah, even knowing things like which way a spiral staircase is supposed to wind so that you defending can have your shield and attack, and the person going up the stairs has
disadvantage.
a disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. So as they enter, we get more people shouting to Lan, calling him Dai Shan, and then also calling him the Golden Crane.
Yeah.
So we get even more confirmation here. Even in my notes, I'm like, holy shit, Lan is really important and really special here. Like, that is just nailed home.
Yeah.
So a guy comes up to them who is very interestingly described. So he is donned in Black Hawk armor, but he has a gray owl on his coat. He also has a shaved head, all except for a top knot on his head, tied up in a leather cord.
Yeah.
I like to think it's on his forehead.
So,
and I hardcore picture Mulan.
I was going to say picture samurai, picture...
I can't help it. Where they wrap their hair up with the leather cord.
And I said you need to picture a samurai.
Yeah.
Because that's what the Borderlanders are.
You're going to run into...
a lot of cross-cultural references. And you know what?
But the thing with RJ
appreciate
is
that.
it's not just like a one-for-one, though. And that's
No,
the
it's
whole
not.
point.
And I like that.
It's
I
a
like
mix
the
of-
cross-cultural stuff.
And you're going to run into the issue, too, with, like, where you've got, like, the Chinese... Like, obviously, they didn't have the samurai. The samurai were Japanese, right? But you have, like, Chinese warriors, like in Mulan, where they had the top notch. Like, she wasn't a samurai, right? She was just a Chinese warrior.
Yes, that's true.
And then you have like a whole lot of different areas in that region that we just never learned as much about in our cultural tradition.
Yeah,
but
fair too.
Yeah. I think RJ is actually, that's one of the things that he explores in these, is you actually do get a contrast. You get a bunch of different elements of different Asian cultures side by side.
Especially, I would say, incredibly so with the Borderlanders, and we get to see this a little bit here, revealed is the honor system. Mm-hmm. That there's clearly like an honor to fighting the Dark One.
Yeah.
Right.
And Lan doesn't have a top knot.
Yeah.
And not everyone that
Maybe
they've seen has
used
one.
to.
Possible. He could have.
So this guy says that it has been a long time, Maureen Sedai.
Nope.
Yeah?
Nope. It's been a long time, Maureen Aes Sedai. Not just Maureen Sedai.
Oh.
Important difference.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, very important difference.
Yeah, and okay.
So this is the first time we've gotten to see this greeting where it's Maureen Aes Sedai, not Maureen Sedai.
Interesting, because in my brain I just said Maureen Sedai.
Yeah.
So that's what my note said.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you caught that.
Okay, thank you for that. But I also put here that this is not a Bearlawn situation where she's trying to hide her identity.
Yeah.
Right? They know who she is. They know who Lan is. Like, there is no hiding of any identity here. It's very transparent, very interesting.
Well, and if you think
compared to
about
the southern cities.
the one place where you would want to have some sort of mystical, magical warrior / healer would probably be along the Borderlands where they're fighting big, giant, scary murder monsters.
Right.
The front line, yeah.
And we get more into the whole women are better fighters than men just because of the Aes Sedai channeling.
Yeah, they're worth more.
Yes.
It's more valuable.
Yeah. And so this guy also says, it's good to see you, Daishan, to Lan. And then he says, glory to the builders, Kiserii Tiwancho.
Yeah.
To Loyal, who replies, I am unworthy, and the work is small. And then he says, Tingsu Manchoba.
So the way I've always read this is that these people are speaking to each other in the other language.
Yes.
And the translation is there for us, the reader. But in my mind, I always imagine it as they are literally speaking to each other in a different language.
Okay.
With subtitles being what they're actually saying.
Oh, I like that.
I could very easily get by with that.
I actually do like that. That's good. It's kind of like if we're going to make a comparison in a TV show, like in Game of Thrones, when Daenerys speaks Dothraki, for example, and then she's just speaking Dothraki, and then we get the subtitle. And in the books, sometimes she's speaking Dothraki, but we get the English words. So, I see the comparison there.
And here we get both.
Yes. So, word was sent to Lord Agelmar.
Yep.
that Lan was here and he is expecting them now. So this guy, we don't have a name for him yet, but he says that he's glad the call reached Daishan, and he wants to know also if he will raise the Golden Crane banner once more. And Lan just asks if things are really as bad as they seem.
Yeah, and then we get a name.
Yes.
Ingtar. Yeah, so when Ingtar is asking this, did you receive the call? It sounds like, and we get this a few times this chapter as a reference, that it sounds like a call was sent out to all sorts of different places asking for help.
Yeah.
And everyone here is assuming that Moraine and Lan have appeared as a call, like a response to that call for help.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely learn a couple things from that. This timing is hard, I think, for Lan, based on the way that his facial features and the way that he's expecting this is because he's like,
he knows he's not here for this. Yeah.
And like when he says in the next
and
line,
he can't
like,
fight Moraine.
is it really as
like
bad?
Moraine was like, we gotta go to Fal Dara.
Yeah.
And she didn't even say, Lan, is that okay with you? It's like going to see, you know what this actually just reminded me of in a really stupid way is that movie Just Friends.
Oh, and he has to go to his hometown?
Yeah, by accident. And he hasn't been back in 10 years, and he hates it there so much. And he lands, who's the actor? Ryan Reynolds.
Also.
Yeah, and he's just so angry to be there. And no one was even like, hey, is this okay with you? Or should we go somewhere else? They're like, yay, now you get to go home.
Yeah,
and
this
he's
is
like,
happening.
Okay. And he just goes along with it, and it's all terrible. And that's what this kind of reminds me of for Lan.
You know what? I can understand where you're coming from.
I just wanted to say, though, as well, that the feel that we get from this, too, is that this isn't the first time that Lan and Moraine have been there.
No.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's
this
definitely
isn't
not.
the first call that they've responded to.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's almost like this is a thing that happens.
They've done this before, yeah. And that's why it's like, it's now that they're there, it's actually expected of them to be more helpful than they end up being.
Yeah, and this guy, the lord of this place, is so confused by what's happening. And we get it over and over and over again because this guy, Ingtar, says that the raids continue through the winter, more and more Trolloc camps are showing up, but he says they will meet them at Tarwin's Gap and turn them back as they always have, and he says, nope, not as bad as it seems, we're all good.
Yeah.
And I don't believe him. I don't buy it.
So if you look at the map too, Tarwin's Gap is a little bit off to the east off the map. So it does seem like it's a pass that's going to be...
But it's actually like the northeast.
Northeast, yeah.
Yeah, on the map, but on the other one it's the north. So yeah, it's just a pass that is like into the Blight where the Trolloc army is potentially going to be going
where
through.
it looks like there is a pass between the mountains.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of mountains, right? So it seems like that's the natural sort of place for people to go through to get either south or north.
Yeah, it's a very like 300-ish situation.
Yeah.
Like Sparta.
The Hot Gates.
Hot Gates type situation.
So in the room, the heart of the keep, it's called... Weapons and armor stand as if they're ready to be donned at any moment. And I think that just speaks to the nature of where we are right now.
Well, yeah, the next line is, or they have only one tapestry, and it's just showing more fighting and war.
Yeah.
They have a theme.
Yes.
And they stuck with it.
Decor theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Agelmar also has a top knot with a leather cord, but his hair is all pure white. So we get that he's super old.
Exactly.
So he welcomes Moraine and Lan like old friends, and it's kind of formal, and then Moraine knows some weird language.
So this is the whole thing. This language, we don't get it if there's any distinction between what she's speaking here or what they said to Loyal and we're talking about with Glory to the Builders. But the funny thing is that the language that you see here, it's very, and I only say this because I did a little bit of searching on Google, similarities to Japanese. Because if you type in English phrases and words into Google, the words are very close to Japanese language.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So another kind of hint that Borderlanders have that
Asian influence.
Asian influence, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think even the title Daishan
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
get some Asiatic vibes there for sure.
But I think the important part here is that
There's another greeting for Loyal, and that's nice.
Yeah.
Is that what the important part is?
Sure.
But Agelmar says that they must have had a long journey from Tarvalin, and they must be tired. And then this is the point that I went and looked at the map and sort of tried to do some comparing, and it looks like it might be a comparable distance from Baerlon to Caemlyn. Tarvalin to where they are now.
Okay.
If my finger markers, are accurate on the large map, that's sort of what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
And we know it took a while for them to get from... And I know they took lots of different routes to get there, but it seems like it took probably 3 to 4 weeks to get from Baerlon to Caemlyn, even with their side travels.
Yeah, it
Both
looks
of
a
you
little
are
bit...
staring at your map so intently right now.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit longer, maybe that distance and a half.
So Lan actually says that it was a short journey, the path we came, but more tiring than the long way, which really puzzles our Lord Aegle. That's what I started calling him in my notes because I didn't want to type out the whole name.
I like Marmar a little bit better. But you can do what you gotta do. I like this line because it's like, it says
Super
so much.
confusing.
Yeah, and it's confusing.
Yeah, well, and at the same time, Agelmar doesn't even ask. He's like, that's a weird thing to say. And then he just sort of moves on. So he just says that they should rest for a while and enjoy the hospitality of all his servants, basically. And Moraine says that they will actually have to leave first thing in the morning. And now this part confuses Agelmar even more
because
than
he's
Lan's
under
riddle.
He's under the assumption that they've answered the call.
Yes, okay, that makes sense. Because he thought they were coming to join their battle at this Tarwin's Gap. 1,000 men will come when they hear the golden crane flies again. But Lan hates this. He does not like this at all.
Yeah, also they mentioned that Moraine is worth 1,000 lances. And Lan raising his golden crane banner would bring 1,000 more.
Right. Crazy. But Lan hates this. He says the 7 towers are broken and Malkier is dead.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Yeah, and he says, I am a warder, sworn to...
the flame of Tarvalin.
Yeah, okay.
And I am bound into the blight.
Yeah, and I said, whatever this means, sounds good, though.
It was the quickest way to get from A to B for Lan, and that's why, like, Lan said harshly, right? Like, this is him saying...
It's almost like he snapped and had enough of people saying how wonderful it is that he's here when he's clearly pissed off that he's here. Maybe, now that I'm saying it, maybe he's really angry that there was a call and he's not actually here to answer it.
It definitely could be part of it.
And he's kind of a little bit having this inner turmoil of, I really want to help these people, but I know Moraine's plan is more important, and he has to stick with it, and maybe that's eating at him a little bit?
Yeah,
is that possible?
I think that's definitely possible, yeah. I think that's a good speculation.
And, like, you got to remember, too, that probably every time they've come before this, it's been to do...
the same thing,
It's been to do the fighting. Yeah, like, you gonna raise crane this time?
Yeah.
Right? He clearly hasn't done it before.
Yeah.
But every time he comes to this fucking town, it's all about this crane.
Gosh.
I get annoyed.
Yeah. But Lan wants to know how bad this situation really is. And I just think, like, whatever situation that is, clearly what everybody has been dealing with this whole time.
That's
and Agelmar says that all the people will go south to Fal Morin when they go north to fight. So hopefully the capital will hold, because it's as bad as the Trolloc Wars out there, with all the raids through the winter in Kandor, Arafel, and Saldaea.
Yeah, and those are the other borderland nations.
And we've heard of Saldaea. We
Yeah.
heard about the Raves. No, we heard about the raids. Yeah, we heard about Raves and Saldaea.
Charlotte Raves?
Ow, ow, ow. That's good. I like the unts better. Unts.
Yeah, better than howling.
In my brain,
Classic Raves.
it sounded the same, and then I did it.
We could have that, Raves. Yeah, that's okay.
Well, we heard about the raids in Saldaea because that was the captain of the spray.
Yeah.
Right?
Damen. Yeah.
Captain Damen.
Baal Damen.
Baal Damen, that's the guy.
Yeah.
He had to winter in Saldaea because of the terrible winter, and there were Trollocs and shit up there.
And that was the guy who you accused of being a dark friend.
I still think he is.
Dark friend Damen.
Yeah.
Dark friends are freaking everywhere, okay?
Well, it could be. You never know.
Except that I think I know.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
Uh-huh. Well.
So, just a note to the whole, this is a really bad situation. So, Fal Dara is an outpost, basically. That's like first line of defense. And Fal Moran is the capital, and he's evacuating the outpost.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. And he
to
doesn't
the capital.
And he doesn't even know if Fal Moran will hold.
He hopes it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he says it's so bad that people are whispering that the world is ending and the Dark One is loose again. And this is interesting because we have gotten this over and over and over, no matter where we have been.
Yeah, right from the beginning of the book.
Yes.
In Emmons Field when they were complaining that the world's ending because winter's bad.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And they're not wrong.
They might not be wrong.
I think they're right.
We're getting some consistency here. It's
right.
Everyone's got their own keys, but it's
goodness gracious.
It's definitely a little bit more direct in the
Turns
Borderlands.
Out, Old Sen Buey's actually a prophet.
Yeah.
Does he hear the wind too?
You know, if you always say the world's going to end, I mean, at some point you might be right.
What a negative way to look at everything.
Just saying. Not saying you're going to be right. It's just you might be.
Well, you could say anything and always might be right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my theory.
It's a bad theory.
That's all.
It's bad.
It's worked for me so
That's
far.
That's all so bad. Okay, so anyways, Agelmar is so insistent on Lan coming to help. His name alone will inspire others, which could save Shinar. Otherwise, they will be outnumbered 10-1. And Lan crumples a silver goblet in his hand? What? He just crumples it up?
So I think it's really important to note here that Lan is a person of
fucking
extreme importance.
Strong.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he can crumple a goblet in his
What
hand.
is that? Who has that kind of grip strength, okay?
I'm not going to go around breaking cups, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's impossible.
I mean, I could if I wanted to. I just don't want to because, you know.
It's all glass and
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you get a goblet is all I'm saying.
It's silver. It's a silver goblet, and he crumples it.
Silver's pretty malleable.
I would
And
say
it's a goblet, so
if it was gold is a pretty soft metal, and I'd be like, okay, crumples the gold. But silver's pretty tough. Silver's
Get back
durable.
to me when he crushes a flagon. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
A goblet's dainty. It's like a wine glass.
Okay.
Yeah, but more important than Lan breaking a cup, it's who Lan seems to be.
Yes.
His name can summon an army.
Yeah, but he says, I cannot. Except he actually whispers it hoarsely. I cannot.
It's good.
I am a warder, and at first light I need to ride to the Blight. The end. Stop talking about it. This Agelmar guy, we're gonna see, also doesn't give things up.
Not yet.
No.
Not without a fight.
Does not give anything up.
Well, he's going to be riding his army to Tarwin's Gap, outnumbered 10-1, expecting to die, and he's going to be sending everyone from his outpost to the capital, and he's expecting the capital to not hold. So he's expecting his entire country to fall. And Moraine is worth 1,000 lances, and Lan could summon an army to help save his country, and they're saying no.
Yeah, that's annoying. You're
so
right about
that's just
that.
not frustration. That's like he wants to save his land.
Well, that's where the confusion comes from too, where he's like, "What do you mean you're not here to help me?"
Yeah,
like he's confused. That's why
it just
right?
goes beyond the simple
confused.
Why are you not helping? It's
Yeah.
like you're literally, if you don't help me, my country will fall.
Yeah.
But he adjusts pretty quick, I will say, after it gets
medium.
explained to him
He
a little
medium
bit more.
adjusts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. So he wants Moraine's help, and she says that they have their own battle to fight at the Eye of the World. And then we learn that the Eye of the World is incredibly hard to find. And I just say, oh, good.
And impossible to find twice.
So this will be easy. Great. And then we also find out that later that Moraine has already been there. So, cool.
Yeah, we know two things. One is that it's hard to find, and the second one is that you never go there twice.
Yeah. Same with the Green Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Are they?
They've mentioned it over and over that the Green Man is the guardian of the Eye.
Oh, I thought the Green Man was like sort of like, yeah, I guess, the gateway sort of to the Eye of the World. Yeah, one and the same. Okay.
Yeah, you see one, you see the other.
Cool. So, Agelmar is very puzzled by Nynaeve and Egwene's farm clothes. All of a sudden, he sort of looks at who is here. And I just think this is funny that this entire conversation has gone on without, like, an introduction to the rest of these people who are just standing here, like a bunch of ragtag.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't get it. He wants to know if they are Aes Sedai too.
Yeah. It's the extreme respect for Aes Sedai as well.
Yeah.
Like when he says Moraine Aes Sedai, like he doesn't title her as just Moraine or even just Moraine Sedai. It's Moraine Aes Sedai.
Right.
So she's in charge and all respect is due to her and everyone else is like a side note.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where Agelmar really doesn't get it. They look like a bunch of just like ragtag children to him, and he wants to send real fighting men with her. If she has this important mission to go on, he's like, well, these stupid boys can't help you.
Yeah, I like how he like looks at Rand. He's like, you got one fighting man, and then looks at Perrin's like, maybe two, and then totally disregards Matt.
Oh yeah, Matt is not a fighting man.
It's just because Perrin's like a huge jacked
he
guy
looks
with
at
an axe.
Perrin's axe. That's what he sees.
Yeah.
He's got a great ass. You said ass, right?
So they need to get to the Eye of the World without fighting and attract as little attention as possible, basically showing up there unnoticed. So no thank you to the fighting men. We don't need to fight. We just need to get there.
Yeah.
Basically. So Agelmar won't give up. He wants to send at least 10 men to escort her and the ladies to the Green Man. And Rand realizes that this sort of struggle means using the power. So it's natural to assume that the women will be doing the fighting here. But Moraine shuts him down again. Moraine says no one finds the Eye of the World unless the Green Man wants them to find it. Need is the key, and she says she knows where to go because she has been there before. But that actually sounds like a detriment because no one has ever met them twice, like not even the Ogier.
Yeah, you can only go once.
Yeah.
And you can't have anyone who is like seeking glory.
Yes. But right now, she says, plus, she has something now that the other seekers did not. And then her eyes slightly drift to Loyal.
A little bit.
Seems like Loyal's been pretty good for her immediate impromptu journey.
So do you think that it's Loyal who is going to help her find the Eye?
Yeah?
Or is it Loyal saying Taviran, and the Taviran are going to help her find the Eye?
Yep. All of that.
All right.
I just... I don't know. That's a weird question for me because I
prompting...
don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Her eyes slide to Loyal, which prompts Loyal to say Taviran.
Right. But Loyal is on this journey because he feels like it's exciting to be part of this stuff that's really changing the world. And whether or not... We've had this conversation before, if Loyal is a Taviran in himself or if he's just being pulled in the direction of the Taviran to be part of this weaving pattern. Yeah. Which is, I think it's the latter. Personally, I don't think Loyal is a Taviran, if that's what you're asking me. But I do think that Moraine is going to use Loyal as bait for the Green Man, who likes Ogier better than they like humans.
Yeah. So part of me wonders, like, how Moraine determines, like, who's part of the pattern. Yeah. It's like some people who are just in the room, she's like, fuck it, you're supposed to be here probably. Yeah. But then other times she's like, no, you can't come. You're not part of the pattern. Like, how does she pick?
Now, to be fair, she hasn't said no to anyone who said, I want to come.
Never.
Well, she said no to him offering men.
Yeah, but...
Like, why wasn't that part of the pattern?
It wasn't a specific person, though.
She knows.
So if he said, like...
Agelmar doesn't say, I'm going to go with you.
So if he said, take Ingtar, you think that she'd be like, oh yeah, you're part of the pattern now.
Yes, I think so.
Because that's what it looks like at the beginning. It's just like, oh,
she's like,
you're in the hayloft?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, come
you're probably supposed to be here.
Part of the pattern.
Part of the pattern now.
So I just say, man, this guy. Like, I don't know if I'm getting slightly annoyed by his persistence or if I'm impressed by his persistence. It's one or the other, and I can't tell which one it is.
Again, he's offering options.
Yeah, but he says, if the real battle is at the eye of the world, then he should send his troops there. Yeah,
let's all go. We'll all go there.
You just heard we need to get there without fighting, but he's just trying his hardest to be helpful.
He just so wants to be relevant.
He wants to be part of it.
I think he's recognizing already, based on what he's hearing, like if the Aes Sedai and Daishan are going into the Blight and they're not coming with him, then what they're doing is actually important. So now he's like, oh, cool. So I'm going to go die.
Go with you.
We'll just go die over here.
Yeah.
Instead of
over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be over here dying and you're going to do the important thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Okay.
So more solemnly, he's reaching at something to try to save his homeland. That's literally what's happening here.
Yeah. Moraine confirms that this would actually, in fact, be a disaster, and she keeps shutting him down. And that took a lot of convincing.
He's a persistent dude.
Yes. But eventually, they drop everything, they eat dinner, and have a lovely dinner conversation. And apparently, he's just a wonderful host, and everything is just lovely.
Bit of an animal obsession.
Yeah. Matt brings up a song about Tarwin's Gap, and then they all sort of laugh about it.
They don't laugh.
Oh.
Yeah.
He brings up Tarwin's Gap, and then he gets awkward about it while he's like halfway through it.
Oh, right. I remember now. I laughed about it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Yeah.
So, and the song is called Coming Home from Tarwin's Gap.
Yeah.
And it's just because he mentions that, like, pretty much every nation at some point has sent troops to the Blight, and Tarwin's Gap seems to be like one of those chokehold spots that almost every nation has fought battles at some point.
But then after dinner, importantly, they smoke 2 rivers tobacco through pipes.
Yeah, we know that's a chief export.
Oh yeah, hard to come by, but worth the cost.
Yeah, it's not
they grow
tobacco,
a lot of
though.
Tobacco, right?
It's definitely marijuana.
You think?
Let's all be real here.
Are you serious?
Well, there's strong allusions. Same with like the Shire weed in Lord of the Rings. Like everyone kind of hints that it probably and might be.
They call that weed, though.
Weed.
Yeah, that's straight up
That's
just weed.
straight up just weed.
Yeah.
And the province where they grow it, everyone eats 8 meals a day.
Yeah, I know. It's not a coincidence.
Like, it's not like the next line here, Loyal talks about ordering like a Doritos
Plate
for
of
the
onion
table.
rings?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen. So
Y'all
that's
feeling
why...
nachos? Y'all feeling nachos right now? Yeah, I don't think it's actually, but it's just like one of those funny little inside jokes where it definitely might be.
Yeah.
There's like a 60% chance. And before we go forward, I just want to point out Rand is super hypocritical towards Matt. When Matt is like mouthing Manetherin to the boys, it says that he hoped that the others were guarding their tongues, Matt especially. But it's like Rand was the guy who keeps telling everyone who he is and where he's from and who his dad is.
Yeah, hypocrite Rand, for sure. Here, though, Loyal is also upset that there is no growth here and nothing left of Fal Dara now.
Oh.
There you go.
Nailed it.
So Loyal is really upset here that there is no grove and there is nothing left of Fal Dara now.
Yep.
And Aegomar explains that it was completely destroyed in the Trolloc Wars and they didn't want to attempt to rebuild it because they would just do a super shitty job. And so they try not to dwell too much on what is gone. The strongest heart will break under that strain. And then Lan recites some poetry.
Classic Lan.
About a rose petal floating on water and birds splashing and beauty and death swirling together. And Rand thinks that Lan is like an onion. And I like this. This is funny. This is totally a Shrek call to.
Yeah.
Because the whole ogres are like onions. And then I didn't do any research at all on this, but I assume that comparing people to onions must be a thing.
I thought you were going to say I didn't research this, but Robert Jordan was a Shrek fan.
No.
It's possible.
I was going to say, yeah.
No,
I mean,
no,
sure.
No, I'm just saying that it's hardly coincidental.
Yeah, that people are like onions.
That people are like onions.
Yeah.
Because they're compared to having many layers to them. And so I do not think that the writers of Shrek read this book, got this specific particular line from chapter 46 in Eye of the World, and used it in Shrek. Like, I just think no way.
But you can't definitively say that they didn't do that.
But I mean, like,
You're
the next
right.
line where Rand says he's more like a parfait, I mean, it's kind of on the nose, wouldn't you say?
Everybody likes a parfait. No, I'm just saying that must have some sort of interesting history of people being described as onions when they have lots to them.
Yeah. And the Borderlander theme of not, like, dwelling too long on what's lost, it makes sense in a country that's, like, racked by war every single day, that you have to be able to let things go.
Yeah.
Well, not even necessarily...
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Not even necessarily just not dwelling on it, actually acknowledging the beauty in it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the rose petal on the... That rose petal is dead, right? But the way that a rose petal floats on the water has its beauty.
Yeah.
They've learned to see... They've learned to see depth and see beauty in things because they've had to, because death is a part of their life. And if they didn't see death and life together, they would, like they say, their spirit would break.
Right.
So what do you think Nynaeve thinks about this whole land reciting poetry thing?
Super hot.
Loves it.
Loves it? Or do you think she thinks it's stupid and doesn't like poetry?
No, she
Nynaeve's a harsh woman. So.
She would say, I hate this and this is stupid.
But she would actually like
She would
it?
totally love it. Love it.
I think Rand's a little more into land now too, actually.
Yeah, Rand totally is into Lan. Okay, big news, guys. Because Ingtar busts in the room here to tell them all about a stranger trying to enter the town.
Well, busts is strong. He appears and bows to Lord Egelmar.
And says, your pardon.
Busts in.
Just fucking blows through another door. Doors are taking a hard
Screaming
round.
and
He, like,
kicking, yeah.
Kicks in the door. Yo, Lord, strangers here.
Yeah.
That's how that goes.
100%.
So
Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Oh, it is like that? In the books, it's a whisper.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
the joke.
Alright, go get it.
It's an excellent reference.
Yeah, that was
That is
good.
an excellent reference.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
getting
good,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
You have
We have
to
to do this.
Also this one.
Brett, in case you're wondering what that crazy
Oh, I know what
yelling
it is.
was.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
In the movie, because he's like all crazy and
Yeah.
it wasn't supposed to be.
It's a whisper in the
Yeah.
book. And
And just
he
like, hey, did you do this?
screams it.
Yeah.
And he pulls Harry aside and goes, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? And in the movie, Dumbledore frickin' shakes Harry like crazy and screams in his face.
Yeah.
So this is exactly that, because in the show, Ingtar is going to bust in screaming.
My lord!
And it's going to be different
Oh my
than
goodness.
the
Yeah.
book. Thanks for you're our guest and you just served us.
Jats!
Thank you, Tyler, for that.
You're welcome.
I love Harry Potter references so much, and I especially love when they don't come from me. Because
If
that
I'm
means
here.
there's more of me.
Ah,
And I like
yeah.
it.
So, Ingtar busts through the door.
Bus in. When the guards tried to question him, he ran away and was seen entering the forest. And at this point in my notes, when I was reading, I wrote down, oh shit, the open way gate.
Okay, that would make sense.
Oh my god, I totally thought this was going to take a turn where Moraine was going to go, oh shit, the way gate. And there's, a whole thing. And then just like, never mind, because literally a sentence later, we learned that he actually just tries to climb the wall
Yeah.
on a different side. And he doesn't even go anywhere near where they were.
But what's
So-
more surprising is that this man was able to get to the wall and halfway up before anyone noticed
Yeah, he
him.
was scaling the wall.
Yeah.
Like, who is he? Rand?
Exactly.
Nice. Solid Wheel of Time reference.
Thank you.
While we're reading Wheel of Time.
I love it. So, Ingtar says, don't worry, I'm just letting you know, he's just a madman. And as soon as I saw those words, you know what I thought, because we were sitting on the couch here,
Yep.
Brett, and I looked over and went, Brett, there's a madman. And I went, and I wrote, oh shit, it's Fane.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, wait, what the fuck? How? like, what?
How and what
How
and why
and what? And oh my god, what's actually going on? Because those words madman, there's been a madman following them, and you know, in Whitebridge we heard about it, in Camelin we heard about it and saw it. Rand saw Fane in Baerlon looking like a crazy madman.
Yeah.
So it all fits together, and I know I started to doubt myself a little bit, but as soon as I read this, I went, oh my god, I know this is Fane.
And if you remember specifically in the Camelin chapter, when I asked about the beggar who like spotted Rand through the crowd, I had asked you, so after everything's said and done, do you think that this beggar is Fane? And you said no.
I hesitated and I doubted myself.
And you said no.
And I don't know why when we were recording I said that, because as soon as I read this in the book, as soon as it said madman, like I knew.
It
like,
confirms everything.
It confirmed it for sure. And I really doubted mostly Rand's reaction to him, because Rand has no recollection, and I think that's what really threw me off. But then also when you said, then who is this person? I went, no idea. So like that doesn't make sense either, that we have no clue who this person is.
Yeah, but like just the context, that is really hard to place people when you don't expect them to. And like, why would the boys expect Fane to be this beggar madman following them?
I totally get it, and I understand. I just am regretting my doubting myself, and I've learned a little bit of a lesson here to just never doubt like I had never doubted myself with the whole dagger curse thing. What are you guys smirking at each other about?
Nothing. You're 100% right all the time.
Yeah. But you should never doubt yourself.
Never. Yes, that's the important part. Even if it's completely...
That'll never backfire.
Even if it's completely wrong, though, I have to stick to my guns, I think.
Okay.
Because I felt weird being kind of iffy about it. I didn't like that. I wanted to be sure about how I was feeling, and it threw me off. And that's obviously the point. Yeah. But it threw me off that Rand had no clue. I got really mad at Matt and Rand in Whitebridge when they were like, a crazy madman is here asking for you guys. And they were like, what? And I was like, these idiots, they should know it's Fane. And I got so angry and I was so adamant. And then the writing threw me and I'm annoyed by it. So I'm going to stick to my guns.
So we're just going to do a big, good job to RJ for that writing?
Yeah, we gotta.
He gotcha. Yeah.
He really did. And, there's gotta be a nod to you as well as my companion.
Knowing
Brett,
who Fane is?
Knowing who Fane is.
Yeah.
So, Agelmar says to bring the man here now. There's been trouble in the city with dark friends. And there's like this whole little side story of how some people were trying to saw open a gate to let Trollocs in or something.
Yeah, just like a little side, not the big main gates.
Yeah.
But like a
horse gate, it said. Yeah.
A smaller horse gate, which would allow Trollocs through.
I picture a little doggy door for horsies.
A little swinging one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cute.
Sure. Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
But how do you picture a small door?
No.
Also for horses.
The horses would go down on their knees, sort of.
As horses do.
No.
And inch through.
I don't picture a little door. It's a horse-sized door, but it's a doggy door, but it's a horsey door.
A giant swinging door.
That just knocks the night off every time.
There's no one riding the horses.
Oh. So that the horses can go in and out as they please?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that they run around and come back. They're well trained.
Okay. So in this little side story here, it is important to note that they were 5 of the Shianaran men too, which in itself seemed pretty shocking. And that's why I was saying at the beginning is that the Borderlanders do seem to have this honor system where Agelmar is literally shocked that his own people would be dark friends.
Yeah.
Even though they come in all shapes and sizes, obviously.
Right. So anyways, here he tries to excuse himself to go see this guy, but Moraine insists that she should see this man too. Yeah. Anything out of the ordinary, she should be a part of. And so they escort this man in, and this man looks like a rag bag turned inside out. And I went, Fane! For sure, this is 100% confirmation that this is who this is. He looks like the beggar, and he's a madman, and that's been all the comparisons. He's looking for these guys, and he's following them. He's the beggar guy Who else? It's no one. It's gotta be Fane. So...
And we find out in 3 sentences that it is in fact Fane.
Filthy man starts yelling about seeking shelter from the shadow, and Matt says, the peddler. And Perrin agrees, yep, Pat and Fane. And I go, boom, 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 yes, I think so, woo, woo, woo.
Well, first,
moral of the story,
Matt
never
cuts
doubt
off
myself.
the Lord.
Oh yeah, Matt's great. But, moral of the story, I put in my notes, never doubt myself, because I am so smart and always right.
Merge without looking.
Pew, pew, pew.
So then Rand makes the connection that
Look, I
Fane...
even put star air horns. Yeah.
So Rand makes the connection too that Fane must be the beggar that he saw previously
Yeah, and then a sudden hatred flares in Fane's eyes. Fane cries out, I didn't want to, he made me, the one with the burning eyes. And I think, oh man, Beelzebub!
Yeah, that's the only person we
The
met
only
with burning
guy.
eyes so far.
So Moraine says that this concerns her after all, and she will need to speak with Fane alone. But maybe wash him first, because she might need to touch him, and he'll make her hands dirty.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, Fane is like possessed, like a crazy possessed person.
Well, keep in mind, remember at the beginning, it introduced the madman here was speaking like a Lugarder and then like switching.
Yes, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Fane's voice, but it did not sound like the peddler at all. So it gets weird here, with Pat and Fane saying that is one of his many disguises that he's had to wear. And then he goes on and on about how he can defeat the shadow and how he knows how. And honestly, it sounds like a bunch of Father of Lies bullshit to me. So I was also confused for a while here because he keeps referring to someone as the Great Lord. And I was super confused because I assumed he was talking about like the Lord of the Dark.
Yeah, the Great Lord of the Dark.
The Great Lord
yeah.
of the Dark. But then I realized he's actually talking to the Lord of Fal Dara, Egilmar.
Yeah.
So, like, super strange. And he's just speaking very formally to him, but it's so weird. I just didn't get this at all.
It's just like he's doing some pretty blatant flattery
Yeah.
to try and get on the good side of this guy.
It's so weird.
It's over the top, but it's like the excessive
It's almost
personality of like a narcissistic, arrogant
Yeah,
person.
what I was going to say is almost like a non-human possessing a human to talk like humans.
Yeah, in a manipulative way, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's like
and that's
manipulation
literally,
101.
I think, what's actually going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely get some serious like worm tongue vibes here where it's
It's
just
like if you read a book on like how to make friends with people and the first step is like, you know, tell them nice things about themselves, and then he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Great Lord, you're the best and I can help you, rule the world.
Yeah, because number
Yeah.
2 on that book of how to be friends with people,
It's like promise them things.
promise them things, help them out.
Yeah. Brett, that is a great point, Brett.
I should write a
Brett.
book on how to make friends.
You've totally nailed it,
Always say their name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brett. Repetition.
Egilmar is like, you guys are right. This guy is nuts. He thinks an awful lot of himself for a peddler. And Fane finally stops talking when Moraine stands up and starts to walk around the table, and she stops at Matt's chair and whispers something in his ear that makes him relax. Like Matt wasn't relaxed. I feel like this whole scene, I wasn't thinking about Matt at all, so this
Well, there's multiple
interaction is weird.
There's multiple references of Matt reaching under his coat to touch his dagger.
Sure, but like, he always does that.
He does it only, or more specifically, when he's nervous or
Feeling in
in danger
danger.
or something like that. So
Yeah. Anyways, Moraine makes him relax, and he takes his hand away from the dagger that he's clutching. So that's just like, get that concern out of the way.
What do you think she said?
Hey, stop that. You're fine.
she did that in the ways as well.
Yeah. That whole, you're safe as long as I'm near. That whole hypnotizing speech.
Yeah, like positivity.
Yeah, the one that you listen to while you sleep to
It's just like cat poster slogans.
yeah.
Hang in there, big guy.
Yeah.
Friday's around the corner.
Yeah, that one. Good one. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, exactly.
When Moraine gets in front of Fane here, he is back to his whiny voice and says, I hate him. I want to be free of him. He made me do it. And then Moraine sort of tells everybody that Fane is less than human and more than vile and more dangerous than you can imagine. And she must deal with him immediately. No time for a bath even. She dare not waste a minute. Come on, Lan. Like they're headed to a fun excursion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, boy.
He's summoned and he's like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've seen like 2-3 personalities out of Fane.
Yeah.
We've seen like his whiny self, his arrogant self, this weird next self. Like different.
I would say it's back. I'd say there's 2. I'd say
2?
there's Fane,
Okay.
and I'd say then there's him being possessed by Beelzebub. Those are the 2.
Okay.
You think it's Beelzebub?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, I was going to ask you. What do you think? Is he just insane, or is he?
No. He is 100% totally something's happening where he is. Somebody is speaking through him.
So the arrogant.
That's not Fane.
That's not Fane.
No
That's
way.
something
No.
else.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think Fane is the snivelly guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
And I am concerned that no one is concerned about this open way gate.
Not yet.
And no one seems to think this is an issue, so that makes me think that this is going to be a big issue.
Well, there's also a lot more implications considering the waygates now.
Yeah, so I am just very concerned about this way gate and potentially things coming in or out of it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I think this chapter really highlights a lot of question marks around Fane as a character.
Oh, yeah.
That we need to double back and think back on. So
Yes. Yes, 100%. And so, Tyler, we really want to thank you for being here and contributing and making fun of me a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
it's what you do.
One of those is really easy to do.
Okay, well, I think we'll end it there.
And we will have you back in another 23 chapters.
Is that 23 chapters from the start or 23 chapters
from now?
From now. So sometime in book 2.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we can actually officially say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Part of the pattern.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Wheel Weaves. If you're interested in bonus content, cool stickers, shoutouts, access to exclusive insider looks, and to support us making great content, you can head over to patreon.com/The Wheel Weaves podcast. You can find us on social media where we love interacting with our listeners. We're on Twitter at The Wheel Weaves podcast and on Instagram at The Wheel Weaves podcast. You can also join the conversation on our Discord channel. There is a channel for no spoilers that I have access to, and we also have a spoilers channel that Brett controls, so fun for everybody. There will be a link on Twitter and also over on our Patreon page. You can check that out. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe. This really does make a huge difference. Plus, if you want to tell a friend about us, maybe someone who is just getting into the book series for the first time, or other longtime fans who you think would enjoy us, word of mouth is the best way for us to reach new listeners, and we would take it as a really huge compliment. Thanks, as always, to audionautics.com for the music, and thanks to you awesome listeners.